Welcome to the show, guys. Fantasy football is officially here. We are in full flow fantasy football season, and in this video, I'm going to give you the optimal players to draft in round one. So this is a sample, little bite-sized sample of what 16 rounds is. Now, this is very simple, guys. If you want to win your leagues, very simple, do not draft on rankings. So this is why I created the 16-round draft solution. And again, this is the first round, so I'm going to give you a sample of how I discuss and how I analyze and how I produce 16 rounds. I give you the optimal players in round one, omitting the guys that could potentially bust. Last year, guys, everybody told you Cooper Kupp first overall amongst wide receivers, top 3, top 4 pick. I said Cooper Kupp is coming off a pinnacle year. There's a good chance he's going to decline. Everybody told you Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is past his pinnacle. They put him in the first round. Everyone told you Jonathan Taylor first overall. Why? Because he finished on top last year. So I created a system, 16 rounds, guys, that gives you all the optimal players to draft in each round based on my research on the Cuddy system, consistency, upside, durability, depth, and youth. I factor in all of the variables. What goes up must come down. I factor in potential injury. I factor in Cinderella years. I factor in all the variables to help you guys win. This is not just, hey, these guys finished on top last year, let's draft them in that order. That's exactly what's happening again this year. Everything the way that it happened last year is happening again. CMC near the top, finishing on top. He's a top 5, top 3, top 2 pick. He's pretty much coming off first overall. You got Austin Eckler, same thing. Top, finish on top again. Let's copy and paste. It's literally copy and paste. And they factor in, they throw in a guy, they're throwing in Bijan in there now, which I love, obviously. So again, it's typically copy and paste. So what I'm going to do here in this video is walk you through the first round as if I was going to walk you through how I talk it through 16-round draft solution. Now, if you haven't got the 16-round draft solution, I've linked it here below. Use code SMASH. That's the code you want to use to save on it. Secure the solution. It is out now. I just produced it. The first video is there. Notes of sleepers, breakouts, all the optimal players to draft in each round, all broken down. Printable cheat sheets, all going to be there for you. Get the 16-round draft solution right now. I've linked it below, or head on over to thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. Listen, I'm pumped up. I just produced 16 rounds, first video. I know what's going on. I know the sleepers. I know everything. I'm going to keep producing content here on this channel, so make sure you guys click subscribe right here below. And let me know in the comments below, let me know who you guys are drafting in the first round, all right? Let's talk about the first round. Who am I drafting? Who to draft in the first round? Now, if you're in a super flex league, 2 quarterback league, I tend to always still go robust RB. Not even robust RB, but try to get a running back in the first round because it's such a scarce position. There's literally like 9 running backs with no committees. It's going to more of a committee approach. We saw Kenneth Walker get destroyed with Zach Charbonnet being drafted. Okay? There's a ton of committees now. It's just almost hard to avoid. So you need to secure that running back round one. So who do I like? I love Bijan this year. Now, could he bust this year? Very possible, but he's primed to succeed. He's my 1.01. I absolutely love him. He is ultra elite talent, great vision, great patience, great footwork, great explosiveness. He can catch the ball in the backfield. They've come out and said that he's going to be used in all aspects of the game. Now, the volume's going to be there. They've got Algier. They're going to use Algier to give Bijan a little bit of a break. And, you know, at the end of the day, he is a workhorse running back. He is primed to succeed. He's got that hunger. He's a good guy. Like, I can't explain to you how much I like, again, you guys call him what you want. I call him Bijan. It should be called Bijan. But either way, Bijan Robinson, absolutely love him. Who else should you draft in the first round? Now, if you want to go wide receiver, that's fine. I like Jamar Chase a little bit more than Jefferson. He is more on the upwards trend. We got Joe Burrow, contract year this year. Absolutely love this potential connection here for 2023. And Chase finished near the top last year and only played 12 games. So the sky really is the limit for a young dynamic player in Jamar Chase. You've got Justin Jefferson, who, again, barring any type of injury, should still finish on top. But if you do go wide receiver, you need to immediately go running back immediately after. Now, there's a couple good running backs in round 2 that you may want to consider. Najee Harris, Breece Hall. But again, I explain all this in the 16-round draft solution to make sure you have an optimal roster, okay? You can't just win your league just with one round, obviously, right? So that's why I created 16 rounds, plus the sleepers, plus the breakouts. You're going to have enough to cover you for 20-plus rounds. It's amazing. So make sure you guys do get it. But again, back to round 1 here, I love Bijan. I love Jonathan Taylor on a bounce back year. I mean, I understand they got Richardson at quarterback who likes to run the ball. That kind of gives a little bit of a hit to Jonathan Taylor, but they're still going to feed him. They're still going to need to rely on him. He's going to be on the field a lot. So Jonathan Taylor's another guy who's due for a major bounce back, who I avoided last year because he was coming off this major pinnacle year. I knew a natural regression was going to happen, an injury, things happen. We got to account all variables. So Jonathan Taylor is a guy that I also like in the first round. So we're talking Bajan, we're talking Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, Jefferson. Who else do I like in the first round? Again, that's ultimately up to you and where you fall. Now, if you're drafting earlier, I still do like Bajan and Jonathan Taylor. If you're drafting a little bit later and I've missed out on a bunch of running backs, I may consider Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Now, again, there's other options. Now, Christian McCaffrey, Eckler, I'm going to give you guys the reasons why I don't like them. Eckler, I mean, he's 28 years old. He had a pinnacle year last year. He's a pass-catching back. And understand, guys, he was a backup for years for Melvin Gordon. This is not a true workhorse running back. He came out, he emerged, had a couple of good seasons. Last year, he thrived, predicated on the injuries of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, who weren't on the field. He took advantage of that. Joe Lombardi loved him. Joe Lombardi's now gone. There's going to be less checkdowns. They got Quentin Johnston now, who is a stud wide receiver who I like as a sleeper, who could potentially take the wide receiver one spot. They got him. Herbert's on a contract here. He's got to throw downfield if they want to win. You can't keep checking down to Austin Eckler if you want to make it deep in the playoffs, okay? So I definitely 100% see a major regression for Austin Eckler, who, again, they're not paying. He wants a big contract. They don't want to pay him. Nobody wants him. Nobody wants to trade for him. Nobody wants him, right? So, again, maybe that's a chip on your shoulder. Maybe he thrives because of that. Depends on how you look at the situation. Are you half glass empty, half glass full? It depends. I'm avoiding him coming off a pinnacle year, okay? I'm not sold on Eckler being that workhorse guy. For me, it's a no. Again, CMC, a lot of people drafted him first overall. I understand he's safe, he's steady, but he's not a rookie. He's not young. He's not hungry. He's come off his pinnacle years. He had 2 years where he played 10 games those 2 years, 2020, 2021. So durability is definitely an issue on a team where durability is an issue with the 49ers. Running backs don't get hurt a lot. Okay. Now, Mitchell missed a lot of time. If he's healthy, he's going to definitely dip into the volume. Coming off a pinnacle year where he blew his load, I'm not sold on Christian McCaffrey. While I can't predict injuries, I'm going to assume that one could happen to a guy that's been injured before on a very injury-prone team. I'm fading him. He had his last hurrah last year, so I'm fading him. Other people in round one, let's keep going. Derrick Henry, love him. They drafted Tajay Spears. Spears could be a workhorse on his own. Henry, obviously, in a new situation with Will Levis potentially taking the gun under center. Levis could be good, maybe more throws downfield. I like Treylon Burks as a sleeper. Now, again, if Henry plays, if he's healthy, you're looking at another 250 plus attempts. Love him. Love the upside. I loved him more last year. It could be on a slightly downward swing. Maybe he goes up. We don't know. Maybe he has one last big year. I like him at the end of round one. Still could be safe as part of a robust RB strategy. Again, I liked him more last year. Could have a big year again this year. Just not feeling as warm and fuzzy, okay? Other people, round one, Saquon Barkley could be very viable round one, but understand he is fighting for a contract. He's turned down a ton of money. There is a chance of a holdout at the time of this recording. I do like him as part of a robust RB strategy, but again, is he going to get paid? What's going on with the contract deal? End of first round, maybe viable. Nick Chubb, also another guy I was never a fan of. If you're at the end of round one, early round two, maybe a good consideration. He made it out of the draft pretty well. They didn't draft anybody that's going to dip into his volume. Now, understand Deshaun Watson likes to run a lot. That could be a factor. But again, I like Nick Chubb this year, a guy primed for volume, but is limited with ceiling, obviously due to lack of receiving. And again, he is not a young, hungry guy. So again, I'm not as excited on ceiling, but a safe player at the end of round one. All right, guys. So round one, I mean, those are the people, right? Pretty much. There is other people that could slide in there. Wide receivers like Tyreek Hill, end of round one. Do I like Tyreek? Not as much as I like a Jefferson or a Jamar Chase. The guys I mentioned, whether it's Jonathan Taylor, Bajan, Jamar Chase, or Jefferson, no matter where you're drafting, you should be able to get one of them as you see people gravitating towards more of the Ecklers and the CMCs. So again, it's literally up to you on who you guys want. Again, if it's a super flex league, a dual quarterback league, a lot of quarterbacks going to fly off the board very early. Now, I do recommend you anchor your team with an ace quarterback this year because there's a lot of uncertainty at the quarterback position. We're talking, you got Bryce Young, you got CJ Stroud, you got Levis, you got Richardson, you got all these young guys coming in. You got Aaron Rodgers shifting position to the Jets. You've got, Kyler Murray. Is he going to bounce back? So many question marks. So it's very imperative and important and crucial that you secure and anchor your team with the next quarterback. And again, I tell you who those quarterbacks are in the 16-round draft solution. So again, I want to do a rapid fire video here on round 1, kind of laying it out. If I missed anybody, let me know. These are the guys that jump out at me that I really want round 1. Okay. And again, I'm aiming to go running back. So I'm going to do my best to secure a running back, a Bijan, a Jonathan Taylor, maybe a Derrick Henry, maybe a Saquon Barkley. Those are the ones I'm leaning towards. Some of the guys I'm avoiding, I told you. And it's ultimately up to you to make a decision. I've kind of given you my recommendations, okay? Now, again, there's other people in round 1 that could come off depending on who's in your league. Maybe someone drafts a kicker. Very unlikely, but it varies on how the league size, how many people in the league, who your team league mates like. Maybe there's a guy in your league that really likes A.J. Brown. They're going to draft him top 5 pick. Very possible, okay? Kenneth Walker was a first-round pick. He's obviously slid down with the acquisition in the draft of Zach Charbonnet. So, again, guys, it's ultimately up to you. Let me know who you guys are drafting round 1. I'm really gunning for Bijan. I'm really gunning for Jonathan Taylor. And if those guys are gone, I might go wide receiver. And if not, there's also Derrick Henry there. I may consider him. Either way, I'm going for a workhorse running back early that's primed to get the volume. Very simple, guys. That is the first round for you. Again, if you want all 16 plus sleepers plus breakouts and everything laid out on a silver platter, secure the solution now, guys. I got a lot of energy going into the season. I'm pumped up, feeling really good about everybody I'm recommending in 16 rounds and on this channel. So if you guys want the line mentality, make sure you guys are subscribed, thumbs up, and drop a name below. Who are you guys drafting in round 1? You know who I like. Drop it below. Talk soon, guys. Fantasy's here. I'm out.